Hey guys, it's Yaji. I'm coming at you live again today. And today the topic is I'm going general, how to save your relationship. So this is a really common question. A lot of the times when you're struggling in your relationship and you keep going around and around in the same cycles of argument and then making up and feeling better and then arguing and making up and feeling better and then getting upset with one another over silly little things. Just this is really going to help you, and this is actually going to be an 8-part series. So today I'm going to just give you an overview of what to expect over the next 7 weeks. So today's week number 1, actually 8 weeks, because there are 7 steps, and this is actually what I use in my psychotherapy practices as the foundation of the work that I do in my love therapy centers in San Diego and San Francisco. San Diego office, thank you. And this is really what I'm doing with my clients day after day and week after week. So I'm hoping to share this with you. I hope you get some benefit from it. And if you do, please like it, please share it with your friends. Trying to get the word out about my Enchant retreats, weekend getaway, amazing vacation, where you're going to get all of this compiled into one amazing, luxurious, fun, sexy weekend. So what are the 7 steps? Number 1, and this is actually really, really important, and one of these steps that I do spend a lot of time on with clients in the office, and is understand what you're feeling and what it means. So that is, oftentimes what happens is, and especially in our Western society, we're so focused on analytical thought process, and anything that is not quantifiable is not valid. So a lot of what happens from the neck down is discounted. But there's a lot of information, a lot of studies that are being done these days that talk about the intelligence that's happening in the body, the intelligence that's happening in the heart. So this step is really vital before you go anywhere, to start slowing down, paying attention to your body, paying attention to the tension, the heat or cold, the sensations that you're feeling in your body, and what the sensations might mean, and the emotions, the associated emotions. So if you want to learn more about that, I'm going to be going into much greater depth about that next week. But just really notice what you're feeling in your body over this next week. Notice if you're feeling any tension in your body and what that might be about, why you might be feeling that. Step number 2. If you're having a conflict or a heated argument with your significant other or your child or somebody that you work with, your friend, your family member, anybody really, or even yourself, just, if you're feeling anything other than neutral or good, it's not the time to try and go into it, because when you're feeling triggered, that's a word I often will use, but that means anything other than neutral or good. You're feeling bad, you're feeling irritated, you're feeling frustrated. When you're feeling this way, you will often do and say things that are destructive. So you really want to go into any communication with the background thought, is this going to be constructive or is this going to be destructive? So you really want to come into it with a constructive attitude. And if you're feeling anything, again, I'm being repetitive, but this is really, really, really important. Anything other than neutral or good, then you don't want to talk about it. And I often will have my couples make an agreement when they're in the office and feeling good, that if you're feeling, either one of you is feeling triggered, then you make an agreement to walk away. This is a lot easier said than done. Inevitably, there's always one of the couple that wants to stay and work it out and just feels like they're going to pop if they don't try to talk about it right then and there. And then usually the other partner feels like they're going to pop if they stay and try and work it out. They get flooded, emotionally overwhelmed, and it just not good on either end. So it's really important to make an agreement that you're going to walk away. And then it goes back to step one. So you understand if you're feeling triggered, right? So you notice when you're feeling triggered, you notice when you're feeling something bad in your body, then you agree to walk away. You start this communication, this conflict, you realize you're feeling bad, you walk away. I'm going to go into greater depth about that in week number 3. So we're on week number 1. Right. So that's walk away, breathe, agree on a time to come back to it. That is an important step. You really have to agree on a time to come back. Step number 3, do some journaling and do some things to take care of yourself. Self-care in those moments when you walk away is so important. Journaling is awesome because you can imagine, especially if you're the one who likes to stay and talk about it, and I am, then I just kind of go crazy if I don't feel like it. But you imagine that you're going to write an email, or you open up an email that you're never going to send, or a text that you're never going to send, but you write it and you imagine that you're talking to that person and you're saying everything that you want to say in all of its dirty ugliness, and you can let it out because you're not going to be doing any harm. If you say these things to your partner, then you are likely going to be doing harm and creating more conflict and more of what you don't want. So I highly recommend you hold that in as hard as it's going to be. Journal, call a friend, take a hot bath, go for a run, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, to soothe yourself, to get yourself back to a place of feeling calm and peaceful and regulated. Because approaching anyone from a place of heightened anxiety, anger, frustration will backfire. So, but you can do the journaling in those moments, and it's really important. And I am going to also talk more about that. Thanks, Florian. And then step number 4, when you're feeling better, you want to go back to what you've written out and try and read it with an eye for what are the really important pieces. Because what happens in relationship when things start to erode, you start to pick on little things that actually don't really matter. But it's because there's an overarching sense of not feeling loved or not feeling respected. So because your overarching sense of not feeling loved or respected, you start to pick on all the little things. So when you go back through, you can really see the things that are bothering you, and the things that really need to be communicated. So, just because you're walking away, not going to talk about it in the moment, I really want to encourage you to stay clear on coming back to it. It's super important that you come back to these things, because if you don't, they will likely stay inside and fester. And then that turns into anger, resentment, stonewalling, defensiveness, all the stuff that I talked about last week, which is kind of poison to relationships. So now that you've gone through, you're feeling calm, you've identified the pieces that are important. You want to reframe, rephrase, and put things in the positive. Because let me tell you, when you're coming at somebody and you're telling them all the negative things that they're doing, I don't like it when you do this. I don't like it when you do that. You never do this. You never do that. They're going to shut down. Even if you're in a good energy place, if you're coming at them and feeling good, feeling calm, trying to have a constructive communication, if you're going to approach them by saying all the negative things that they're doing, they're going to shut down. Either that, or they're going to shut down. They're going to shut down and want to escape, or they're going to become defensive, and now you're going to have a fight on your hands. Then you're going to look at it and go, wait, I was just trying to be constructive. I was just trying to make the relationship better. Why did that happen? Likely it's because it was framed in the negative. So really it's important to frame things in the positive. I have a phrase that I often will give to my couples. I call the bookends. It starts out with, I would like it if. You put in your positively framed statement, then you end it with, how do you feel about that? Or what do you think about that? Now you have a conversation, they're not feeling dictated to, and you can have a constructive conversation. That's what you're after, constructive conversation. Before you get to the conversation piece, 2 final steps. Finding the right time is really, really important. if your partner comes home from work and is super stressed out from their day, it's probably not the best time to talk to them at that point. You want to wait until they're feeling good. This can be tricky because it's counterintuitive. Oftentimes, if you're feeling good and they're feeling good, you don't want to talk about things because you don't want to ruin the moment. But coming at the approaching it from the place of a positively framed statement, it has a very dramatically different feel. And again, I'm going to get way more into that when we get to that week. And then finally, you want to try to understand their point of view before being understood. Before getting them to understand your point of view, you really want to communicate what you understand about their point of view. Because when a person is feeling understood, they're going to be calm and open to receiving what you have to say. If a person is feeling misunderstood, they're only going to be half listening to what you have to say and waiting for the pause so they can interject and try and get you to understand where they're coming from, even though you might know. And you might not. So you might think you do. So it's really good, especially if you have a very charged and heated topic that you want to talk about. You find the right time and you sit down and you communicate to them what you understand about their point of view. You can start out, I imagine that this is how you feel about blah, 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 blah. Is that right? Then you give them a chance to talk about it and you can kind of have a conversation back and forth. And then when you are feeling that they're feeling understood, now you can communicate your side. So that's it. Those are the steps. This is a long video. Hopefully you hung in there with me. If you gained anything or you feel this is beneficial or you know anybody that would benefit from this information, please do pass it on. Again, I'm trying to promote my weekend enchant retreats right now in beautiful La Jolla, and we have fabulous 3-level mansion overlooking the ocean. You can see dolphins jumping. It's really unreal. So that's going to be happening at the end of October. Visit the website enchantyourlove.com and pass it on. Please share. Check out the YouTube channel. I'm going to have all these uploaded on there. I'm also going to have them in my feed on my Facebook page. So if you wanted to go back and see a previous video, you're welcome to do that. For now, this is Yaji signing off. Mwah. Love ya. Take care. See you next week. Bye.